So, The Boys is finally coming to an end after years of the most depraved, degenerate shit being shown on screen with superheroes being slapped on the label. We have reached the end of the line so far because we have The Boys Mexico coming out at some point. And if you're wondering what that is, yeah, your guess is as good as anyone else because there isn't a whole lot about what that is or what's going to be in it, or who's going to be in it. It's pretty much up to anyone to guess what that's going to be. But going back to the main show, we're halfway through season five, so I figured, you know what? Why not just do a little bit of predictions of how do I think this is gonna end or wrap up, or what are some speculations I think about the end of the show? And I think it's kind of weird because the show has become so heavily into it's leaned so heavily into being a satirical mirror of our world, where Homelander is just Trump avatar, Vought's far right wing, and the boys are the underdogs trying to fight the tyrannical government and the tyrannical regime in place. A la Trump, a la the far right. You get the deal. Because it's gone so far into that direction, it's almost like you could telegraph certain plot points and almost just the story itself almost. Because if we purely just follow how the show has been going the last few seasons, logically, Homelander and Vought should win because Trump is Homelander, Vought is a GOP, and as of 2026, Trump is still in office, and the GOP are relatively in power for now, at least. That could shift, or it might as well have already shifted. I'm not sure, but from what I last recalled, they were in power. They were the majority in power. So by that, Homelander should win, and the rebellious, underdog, the boys should lose. Now, I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think they're going to have Homelander win. I don't think they're going to have Vought win. In fact, I don't think Vought is going to, at least in my ending, I don't think Vought is going to have a whole lot to do with the boys and the end of the show as much as other people might think so. What I mean by that is, in the last episode, we had Stan Edgar, who's back now, and there was a scene with him and Mother's Milk where they're smoking cigars, and Edgar is talking about Mother's Milk's dad. Gee, I almost said his mom. Anyways, he was talking about how his dad, he was a very famous, or not famous, but high profile lawyer who was taking on Vought, small town lawyer just by himself, and had all these fucking Ivy League fucking college graduates scrambling to try to fight him and ward him off. But Edgar, says ultimately he lost, just like you guys are going to win because you can't fight the inevitable. You can't fight, what is an inevitable part of the human nature, essentially. Where Edgar says, even if it's not soups, it'll be something else. There will be a new trend. There will be something else that comes next, and I feel like that is that, and maybe it's just me reading too much into it, but I think that's a good indication as to kind of what Vought's going to be by then. Because I feel like with Stan Edgar coming back, and that now he's with Homelander and he's in Vought with the Seven, I could easily see a case where Vought is by the end, somehow either Huey and the boys reveal all the shit that Vought did, and everyone turns on him, and they're like, fuck Vought, and then Edgar has to pivot and switches from Soups and moving away from, Homelander as the poster child and Soups to some other product. And then Vought isn't even a thing anymore. And then also, doing it that way, that also makes it to where you kind of resolve the issue of Vought because even Edgar says even if you kill Homelander, the fucking like structure in place that allowed for Vought to be a thing and Homelander to be a thing is still going to be there. The system is going to be there regardless of whether A Train, the Deep, or whoever's there. It's going to be inevitable that it's going to keep going on whether you try to fight or not. So I think that that's probably how Vought's going to turn out. Is like some major revelation's going to happen, and Vought's going to have to deal with the blowback and all the shit they've done for decades, and Stormfront, Homelander, all the stuff he did. And I feel like they're going to pivot Edgar is as the head because even Mother's Milk says in the last episode, he says you're gunning to be the head of Vought again, and he says, yeah, of course, because he says, I understand the game. Like, if you want to be a player who wins, you have to be at the table or at the head. And he's like, I want to be at the head. So yeah, I'm aiming to be back in VOD. And funny enough, Homelander unintentionally allowed that to be even easier because now he's actually there. And I don't think that Homelander's going to kill Edgar off. I think he's going to keep him there, and he's probably going to use his granddaughter as leverage of threatening to kill her or do something awful to her to make him do what he wants or give him the information he wants. So I doubt Edgar's going to die. I don't think he's a character that they're going to kill off by the end. But that does lead to an interesting speculation of who is actually going to die in this season. And I think that there is about a handful of characters that could and should die. The first, well, I guess you could say he's second, but I want to start with him, is a Butcher. I feel Butcher everybody. This isn't even, I don't even want to say it's a speculation. It's almost just a guaranteed deal that he's gonna be killed. Either he's gonna get killed fighting Homelander, saving Huey, saving Mother's Milk, Frenchie. He's gonna die, and really that's the only thing for Butcher. Because at this point, what the fuck does Butcher have? He has nothing left. He's dying of God knows what shitty eldritch abomination side of him. He hates himself to a degree, doesn't find much joy in anything but taking down Supes. And if the boys are successful and taking out Homelander, I mean, that right there is like, I mean, that's his dream right there. Taking out, even though he fucked that up himself, where he could have had him beat seasons ago with all the shit he has now, but that's besides the point. So yeah, I don't really see anything for Butcher to do or where he could even go after uh Vought and Homelander and the Seven are not a thing anymore. So I think Butcher, he won't. I don't think he's going to die until the end. I think it's going to be the end of the show, like the last season, the last episode of the season, big final fight, and I think he's going to be either someone who is killed trying to take down Homelander, or he's going to take down Homelander in some mutual attack. Because you remember seasons ago when they had that talk, Homelander and Butcher in that apartment. And Homelander was saying that you and I share a similar destiny of scorched earth, fucking destroying everything in our path, crossing each other, on our destinies. And it could be a callback of they end up scorched earth, taking each other out. Homelander takes out Butcher, Butcher takes out Homelander. Could be a nice tie-in. So Butcher for sure. I think he is a very easy fill-in for being a character that needs to go. Because on top of not having nothing else to do, I don't even know what he would want to do. Like, Seven gone, Homelander gone, Supes maybe still be around after the virus or whatever, but I don't really see what he would be, because once you take out Homelander, you really can take out, like, that's the thing. Homelander is the main problem. He is the sole issue in the boys. Is if you can take him out, you can take out any other Supe, because no one is nowhere near as powerful as he is. So yeah, I just think Butcher, he's done. Just fucking put him to rest and call it a day. And now the next one is Homelander, because obviously really since I think the beginning of the show, and even the show itself has been teasing and telegraphing the fall of Homelander. When he got beat by Soldier Boy, Butcher, and Huey, and he had his fight with Maeve. We've seen little teases of him being taken down. In the last episode, he was trapped in that uranium pod where he was getting sick and he couldn't use his powers as good. So we've seen teases, and even this season's kind of teased him being weakened and sick, and him kind of being defeated by the boys. So yeah, I think it's time for Homelander to die. Not only because it's the end of the show, but I feel like they have not flanderized his character, but since he's become this Trump avatar, I think there's been this weird shift from how he was, because this could be me just strongly misremembering the early seasons, but I feel like Homelander was a lot more intelligent and a lot more sophisticated in the first season, because correct me if I'm wrong, but he was the first one that noticed that Translucent was missing, and everyone else kind of blew it off. And he was like, "Yeah, there's some shit happening. There's something going on here. There's some shit going on that's not right here." and I believe he was the one that went to investigate. He was proactive and being able to make plans and being able to formulate plans, being able to read people to a degree. And honestly, I feel like that's the best version of Homelander. This Trump avatar shit that they've been doing, and they've really amped it up this season. I just don't really like it. And also, it just makes him not a very good character because he's just stupid all the fucking time now. Like, at least before he had intelligence and he would use his powers to be able to get his goal or to be able to take down people or kill people or whatever he was doing. But now he's just this mentally unhinged man child who just wants to be God and have this fucking monolithic legion of loyal followers and people who love him devoutly. Now, some people will say, well, this is just a natural progression of him slowly slipping his sanity away. Yeah, respectfully, I don't believe that's the case. I think it's just a case of they went from one direction with Homelander, and then they decided at some point as the show's going on, you know what, we're going to go and do the complete opposite and then make him a whole new character and go that route. And now, by this point, I like Homelander. Anthony Starr is fucking phenomenal. I think it's safe to say at this point, Anthony Starr is Homelander, not just villains. I think in superhero genre. I think he's one of the best castings done ever. I mean, I would say he's up there with Robert Downey Jr. and Heath Ledger for just the absolute best casting for this character. I cannot think of anyone else or even imagine anyone else doing anywhere as good of a job as Anthony Starr. So the character, he was good and he has good elements to him, but he's been dumbed down and for me just made into a shit character to where I don't really care about seeing Homelander. And also they've just gone through the same arc with him for seasons of they tease him going crazy and destroying everything and killing everybody and blowing up the world, and he goes from I don't need people, I don't need admiration, I don't need love to I want love, I want admiration, I can make people love me to I don't need people, I can do whatever the fuck I want, fuck Ryan, fuck everyone, I don't need anyone, I can do whatever I need to do whatever I want. But it just is back and forth like, man, Jesus Christ, just settle on something. So for me, on top of him being the big bad that's been teased to be taken down since the beginning, I just think also his character, like Butcher, like honestly, where else can you take Homelander? What can you do with Homelander at this point that has not been recycled, or is just something that is not going to be worthwhile with him? Because what he's done so far this season has not been much. I mean, well, he killed A Train. That was a fucking big thing. But like as far as his character, he's just kind of gone into this religious derangement. So it's like, okay, now he's just a religious man child who's a Trump avatar. So yeah, Homelander, he needs to go for several reasons, but mainly just because he's been the big bad that's been set up, and it's poetic, it's fitting. He's essentially the Thanos of the boys. He's essentially the final boss of the boys. Which, looking back, I can't help but feel like they really fucked up Homelander and the boys dynamic because really, looking back on how the show has gone, it should have ended after 3 seasons. I felt this when they had the third season come out and they had that beyond fucking stupid, contrived plot point of, oh, Soldier Boy harmlessly knocked Ryan away. So now Butcher is going to team up with his sworn enemy that raped his wife and impregnated her with a suit kid. I'm gonna team up with him against the guy that I found. The only reason Soldier Boy is even in that fucking room in that situation is because Butcher went to find him to take him down, to use him to take down Homelander, and he had him there willing to do it. Soldier Boy was more dedicated to Butcher's mission than Butcher had been for season. It was fucking crazy how they tried to make that make sense, and it was obvious that they were just trying to pad out the show because we can't have Homelander get beat now because we have a season 4 coming out. We can't have Butcher or Mother's Milk or Frenchie or Kimiko or anyone else die because again we have another season. So it was just padding. They just kept padding out the show, and then last season just felt like a placeholder. So by this point, I'm thinking, man, we've just had 2 seasons so far of just nothing. And if they had set it up to where you had the Seven, you had Vought, and you had Homelander, and the show was the boys start almost like a video game. You start from the level one, translucent, and you have them over the seasons taking out stronger and stronger, gradually, going up the food chain of going from, the lower levels, the deep, translucent, you get up to like the mid-ish area, Black Noir, Maeve, then you get up to the higher level with Homelander, and then you have the big finale, the big showdown, the big confrontation with your final evil Superman with the heroic team that's going to take him down. And it would be a really big moment. And you could have speculation of how is Homelander going to react to Huey? How is Kimiko or whoever? How are these characters going to interact with each other after having all this, similar paths going on of them being against each other and having their pure desire being killing each other off? How are they going to be able to have a resolution that's going to be, satisfying? And that would be interesting. Of like, how are they going? How are the boys going to be able to come up with a plan? Are they going to be able to beat him? Is it going to be a disappointing ending because the boys don't have enough powers or anything to like take him down? I think that would have been a better structure for the show, and also it would have made it a lot more centralized because as the show is now, it's so fucking scattered with everyone having their own subplot and multiple subplots and side plots. It's like, God damn it, can we just focus on what the show's supposed to be about? The boys and the suits and Homelander. I feel like we've lost that plot as the show's gone on. So I really think they made a mistake of having Homelander and even just all the Seven and a lot of other suits having all this interaction because you have to keep coming up with all these, and they do it in this season. They keep having Homelander show up with the boys, and the boys are just humans. They're not supes except for Kimiko and Starlight. So he could just easily kill them effortlessly, and he doesn't. Every time he has a chance to kill the people who he swears is the bane of his existence, the the main joy he would find right now in life is to kill these characters off. And yet, when he has multiple chances to do it, he doesn't do it. And it's just like, why? You have him there. You hate Huey and Butcher and the boys with a absolute god wrenching passion. You have them there. When A Train saved Huey and bailed, Homelander could have just easily lasered and killed all of them and then chase after A Train and killed him. He didn't have to go after A Train. And also, it didn't make sense for him to go after A Train. Like, why are you going after him over the people you've been trying to kill for years and who have actually killed several members of your team and people you love and care about? Like, why are you going after A Train? It makes no fucking sense. So it was obvious that they've been padding the show out way too much. So I'm more than glad that we're getting rid of Homelander because they ruined the final boss level with him. Level, shall I'm talking like it is a video game. But you get what I'm saying. They ruined what could have been a really nice setup to a big showdown, pretty much like in Endgame. And when you had Cap and Thor and Iron Man all teamed up, the original OG taking on the big bad. You could have had that where you had Huey, Frenchie, Kimiko, Milk, Starlight, all of them having their final big main showdown with the most powerful soup on the planet, who is a very smart, psychopathic, calculating villain who they have to actually use some planning, not just brute strength or going in with Soldier Boy, actually having to make a plan and strategy. That would have been fucking cool, but unfortunately we didn't get that. But digression aside, Homelander, he needs to go. So next, who is next on the chopping block? So this is a character I don't know if they're gonna kill him off, but I don't really see much else for him other than I guess he could retire just fine, but Mother's Milk is a kind of a maybe. I know he has his family, I know, which has been kind of forgotten in this season, but I could see him being killed as a casualty because, especially since they've said that the show's going to have some somewhat major deaths going forward, which I believe that because the first episode was A Train getting killed off, which was shocking because he was really A Train is the reason everything has happened. The reason that the boys are a thing, the reason that everything is like it is now is because A Train killed Huey's girlfriend back in season one and then fucked off and did not care about it. And I would say A Train, he has had one of the most solid, interesting arcs of anyone in this show, from being a loyalist of Vought and Homelander to being an actually genuinely good person. And instead of trying to kill somebody to save himself, like he did at the beginning, well, I guess I have to say it wasn't life or death, but you go. I mean, instead of just not having any regard for human life, he would rather kill himself or injure himself, which led to him getting killed by Homelander, than kill an innocent person again. And that was a wholesome arc. It was that was a nice arc to have for A Train. But when it comes to Mother's Milk, I don't really know what there is for him to do now, like other than go retire with his family. But I could see him being one of the characters that is unfortunately a casualty, either right before the finale or at the finale, somewhere near the end. I can't see them killing off any of the main boys until we get like 7, 6, maybe. Definitely 8 is when I think we're going to start getting any major boys deaths. We might get some Supes deaths and we might get some Vought deaths, but I don't think we're going to get too many. So Mother's Milk, he could be a possibility, but I'm not too sure if he's going to get killed off. And then a character who I feel should get killed off, who I think I really feel that the writers love this character more than the audience has ever loved this character, and that's the Deep. And honestly, the Deep has to be one of the most useless, one of the most pointless characters in this show. I have yet to see what he has brought to this show, or even to anything of worth value. The guy is just a complete fucking joke and a pushover. He hasn't been treated with any type of respect or dignity or like an actually legitimate hero forever. And he's been put in, I don't know how many instances he's been put in where he should have died and he has just not died for some inexplicable plot armor reason. He's just somehow survives. I think he should die. He's been around since the beginning, yet has done fuck all in that time period, really. And you know what's also wild about the Deep? Besides Homelander, he is the only original member of the Seven that is still active and is still alive. Think about that. Out of Maeve, A Train, Translucent, and everyone else, fucking Deep is the one that is still alive at the beginning and even the mid part of season 5. That's kind of fucking wild to me. But he needs to be killed off just because they haven't done nothing with him forever. I don't dislike the character, but I mean, you're going to take out Homelander and you're going to take down the Seven and Vought. I mean, you got to take him down. He's Homelander's right hand kiss asser, so of course he's going to go down the ship with him. So I can see the Deep being killed off, justifiably so. He has a well deserved death coming because man, this dude has somehow been able to survive all this shit that has killed other characters or should have been killed by other characters. Like in this season, Homelander got pissed off at him because he thought that Soldier Boy died. And it looked like he was about to laser him right there, and he didn't. It's like, man, just fucking laser him. He's useless. He's fucked up so many missions and fucked up so many responsibilities you've given him, and he keeps fucking up. Why are you keeping him around? And also, I mean, I know it's the whole making fun of Aquaman, but his powers seem to be, by and large, like how many times can you actually remember or recall the Deep using his powers of talking to sea creatures, using sea creatures? He's done it occasionally. He did it once in this season when he found A Train and his family. He had that whale a few seasons ago, and he had that octopus he was fucking. Oh yeah, there was that too. So yeah, his one of his main plot highlights. I don't know if it was in season 3 or 4. One of those two. One of his main fucking plot points is fucking an octopus, voiced by Tilda Swinton. I think. I'm pretty sure it's Tilda Swinton. That's fantastic. One of the main antagonists of The Boys, 5 seasons in, and 2 of his highlights is having his gills fondled by a chicken assaulted, and then fucking an octopus. Fantastic development. So yeah, he needs to go. And funny enough, outside of those deaths, I could see them killing off some side characters because I don't really consider. I mean, Firecracker, she's been there, but I don't really count her as like a main character, so she could die. But I don't think there's really much in her living or dying. She's just kind of there. But I could see her dying as with the rest of the seven. Sage, I don't see her dying off. I could maybe see her being a casualty of like Butcher. I could see Butcher figuring out like, yeah, she's a bit too smart to keep around. She's probably gonna figure some shit out. We gotta take her out. And I could also see the boys kind of realizing they need to take her out because, well, since she's a quote unquote, I hard questions, but she is the smartest human being or the smartest person on the planet, so she could possibly come up with a cure. This is something. Hold on, wait a minute. I didn't even think about this. Okay, hold on. This is a little side tangent. I just thought about this. Wait a minute. Sage is the smartest person on the planet. Can't she just come up with a fucking reverse compound V shit? Like, she made a cure for cancer as a fucking child at like 8. You mean to tell me you can't reverse some compound? You can't do any type of chemistry or shit? Like, you can't make any type of virus, antivirus, a cure, vaccine? You can't do. And it doesn't look like she's doing any of that. It doesn't even seem like she's even trying to find like all the information possible about what this virus is, how it works, where it came from, who's working on it, the origins, the ingredients. She hasn't done none of that. She's just been standing around reacting with facial expressions to Homelander and occasionally making a comment about something, oftentimes about race, about calling someone whitey or white tears or some shit like that, or how her as a black woman has had X and Y and Z done, and how as a black person X, that's all she's done. Fuck, for that she needs to die. I mean, like, Homelander was right to kick her out. Like, what? You're the smartest person on the planet, and you can't come up with any type of plan. But well, hopefully there's some Compound V from Soldier Boys are around left. Jesus Christ, I've kind of switched to where I kind of want her to die now. Like, man, like you're even more useless than I thought before. But that's a that's besides the point. But Sage and Firecracker, I could see being characters that are also casualties, but I don't count them as main characters, so I don't really think. If Sage got killed off next episode, I don't even know what that would affect at all, because her grand plans consist of her just sitting around doing fuck all, and then out of nowhere, somehow things will work out or they won't work out, and she'll be asked, "Hey, what the fuck was that?" And she'll just say, "Yeah, that was my plan." Well, what was your fucking plan? Like you didn't do anything. You didn't enact it, and then also half of her plans are net negatives. Like half the shit she's done for like her whole A Train thing of him being like the fucking leak. He actually leaked valuable information to the boys. Like he gave them accurate, right, useful information that they used to foil Vought and the Seven and Sage. How the fuck does that help you? How Jesus Christ. I did not mean to go on the whole Sage rant, but Jesus Christ, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, so even more so, Sage should definitely be killed off for that. And then another character, putting Sage in the review mirror now, for now. But another character I could see, now this is interesting, and I might be wrong on this, but I don't think the boys has killed. Maybe they have. I don't think so. I don't think the boys has killed off a kid character or like a borderline preteen character, but if they do, I could see Zoe being a casualty because she's heavily set on killing Butcher, and Ryan keeps telling her like, "Yeah, don't do that. Butcher will fucking kill you." And I don't know. I have two minds with Zoe. Either she's gonna get killed because right now she's actively trying to sabotage the boys and fucked up them doing their chemistry to make a virus. So I could see her going down the path of I just want to kill Butcher for killing my mom, and then in the process of that gets killed off. But I could see her also becoming a love interest of Ryan and then becoming the main character, which I'll get to later. But so far, out of the semi main players going on, those are some of the deaths I think are more than likely to happen. I don't think Soldier Boy is going to get killed off, even though it kind of seems like he should. But I love Soldier Boy, but it just seems like he doesn't have not only an arc or direction, it just seems like he flip flops like a fucking pancake depending on what they need him to do. Like if they need him to be with the boys and Butcher, he's with them, fuck Homelander. But then he'll just randomly be with Homelander and I'll fuck the boys. Now, to be fair, he has reason to hate the boys because they fucked him. They hard fucked him over. It's wild how the dude who had no actual association or anything to do with Homelander, besides being his dad, and A Train, the fact that the dude who had nothing to do with any of this was more invested in getting the job done than the people who have dedicated their lives to this is fucking wild. But besides that, Homelander really is just kind of there. Like I do think that there is going to be a falling out between, and this could lead into the final battle with Homelander. But I do think there is going to come to a head with Soldier Boy and Homelander because Soldier Boy he just keeps hard disrespecting Homelander, and Homelander's taking it so far. But we've kind of seen him push back, like when they were going to the facility last episode. He started talking about like, oh yeah, you were a bitch when you were getting Compound V injected. You're useless. You're trash. So we're kind of seeing that tension build between Homelander and Soldier Boy. So I think there's going to be some falling out, some type of fight could lead to the big fight at the end, or one of the fights that leads to Homelander being taken out. But I don't think they're going to kill Soldier Boy off. But at the same time, I don't really know. I don't really know what they're going to do with him because he doesn't have anything to do. Like he killed his old teammates. He got unthawed. He's not in the box anymore. He doesn't have any friends or family around it other than his son Homelander, who he fucking hates. So I'm not really sure what the plan is with him because this season he's not had much to do. I mean, he's important because he has the original Compound V, but as far as like his character, him, I don't know what their goal, what the plan is, what their end goal is for him. I have no idea, but I don't think they're going to kill him off. I think they're, especially since he has his own prequel coming out. I doubt they're going to kill him off with his own prequel show coming out, unless you're Marvel and you make the Black Widow movie after you killed Black Widow off years later. But that's a side point. But I don't think they're going to kill him off. I think they're going to somehow have him be like a Steve Rogers type, where he retires, maybe finds a woman, possibly has a kid again, tries his time, when he actually can raise a kid instead of being an ice for the whole fucking time. So I could see him just retiring or calling it quits and being like, yeah, fuck all this shit, I'm doing my own thing. Because he doesn't have any actual investment in Vought or Edgar or Butcher or Huey or DuBois. So he has no reason, he has no connection to Ryan. He actually tried to kill the fucking kid, or Zoe, or anyone. So he really, Soldier Boy is the one main character who has really no actual story going. He has not, like, at least Ryan has his whole arc of wanting to take down Homelander now. Zoe has her arc of wanting to take down Butcher. The boys have Homelander. Homelander's one. Everyone has their arcs and their goals that they're going for. Deep wants to make up for being a fuck up and is trying to redeem himself by fucking over Black Noir. When it comes to Soldier Boy, he's just kind of there. He's like, okay, I'll help Homelander because, well, I got fucked over by Butcher, but also now I hate Homelander. So yeah, fuck you. I'm gonna fuck you over. It's just like, okay. So it could be a case where Soldier Boy just ends up being a wild card and he helps take out Soldier Boy, Homelander, but he decides, you know what, I'm gonna do my own thing. Fuck it. And I could see them, if they do kill off Homelander and Butcher, I really could see them building the new boys, not the group, but like the new boys iteration, whatever that is, like the main one, not like a Gen V or the Mexico one or Diabolical. I could see him being a leading character. Like I could see him filling into that Butcher role, or since they're doing the whole playing on superhero tropes, obviously Soldier Boy is a play on Captain America. I could see him making his own quote unquote Avengers as like good soups, or like the good, or at least like the anti hero group. I could see that happening. I could see Soldier Boy making his own group again, and it's like his own thing. They do missions, whatever. I could see that happening. But yeah, I don't know what the plans are going to be with Soldier Boy, so I'm kind of curious to see how that turns out. But yeah, now that we've gotten through a few of the deaths, let's turn to some of the other characters I have some thoughts on for the end of the season. One character I think is going to be a really important character is Ryan, because Ryan before this season, in between season 3 and season 4, whenever he was introduced, and then Huey started to have a relationship with him, they were hyping him up from the beginning, and Vought inexplicably had him as like the backup failsafe against Homelander. It's actually fucking hilarious that Ryan was supposed to be the contingency plan for Homelander after Homelander beat the ungodly fuck out of this kid to an inch of his life. It's kind of funny how he was supposed to be this fallout contingency plan in case like Homelander went crazy and tried to scorch earth the planet, and he just gets fucking low diff like a scrub. So that's kind of fucking comical there. At Man Vought, you guys had real smart strategy going on there, but nonetheless, he's been hyped up as being the one character, the one soup that's powerful enough, even more than Soldier Boy, then that can take out Homelander. Because unlike Soldier Boy, who just has superhuman strength and has that explosive nuke ability, Ryan actually has pretty much all of Homelander's abilities. He can use the laser eyes, he can fly, superhuman strength. Here, he pretty much has an exact copy of Homelander's abilities, but just weaker scale since he's a kid. And so I think with Ryan, he is going to be not only a key like he has been, but I think he's going to be the savior. One of this, either the savior or the savior. I feel like they're going to have him be, after Homelander's killed, he's going to be viewed as like some type of actual, like the legit Superman. Ryan is going to be the Superman that the world needs, opposed to Homelander, who was the Superman that the world did not want, did not deserve ultimately. Not deserve, but did not need, and he did not deserve to have. And I could see them having it be where it's revealed how, like, somehow the public realizes how just much of a fucking monster Homelander was, and then they find out that Ryan was either the one that took him out or was instrumental in defeating him. And I could see the world looking at him as like, the heroic figure that saved the world from this raging authoritarian, unhinged psychopath, in Homelander. And that would be an interesting arc, because I could see them doing full circle where we had evil Superman with Homelander, and now we've went full circle with his son now becoming the good Superman. It's kind of, now I think about it, it's kind of funny. We could have a situation where we essentially have a Captain America fill-in and Soldier Boy, and a Superman fill-in with Ryan in the fucking Boys universe. So we could have like a somewhat unofficial crossover of DC and Marvel with the unofficial fill-in for Cap and Superman. Both are, similar in their morals and ideologies, funny enough. Although in the show, very different. But I could see Ryan being built up as this heroic messiah figure who saves the world, or is viewed as saving the world, and decides, what, I'm not going to be like my dad. I'm going to be a good person. I'm going to save the world from bad, do good things. I could see him doing that. And I could see that being a way that they end the show with the boys are no longer going to be the ones doing any of the work anymore. Or like they could be there, but Ryan is, since Homelander and Vought and all of them are gone, they figure, well, you know what, Ryan stronger than anyone else on the planet. He's a good kid, good guy at that point, maybe. We'll leave this to him. Like we'll let him be the one to, make sure things are okay. So and also I could see them giving. I said this earlier. I could also see them giving Zoe as a love interest, because they've teased it in the last episodes of even last season. They teased Zoe and Ryan. I could see it being that Zoe and Ryan are the two new main characters of whatever the new boys iteration is, and then you have Soldier Boy. Really, that'd be a cool combination. if you had Ryan and you had Zoe and you had Soldier Boy as somewhat of a new team, as you know, the new boys essentially, because it would be nice to have a nice fresh of fresh breath of air, if I can speak correctly, from the current boys. Because I like Butcher, I like Huey to a degree. I used to like Starlight, not anymore. I like all the boys, but they've run their course. Like I was saying with Homelander before, all the major characters in the show so far, minus Ryan and Homelander, have just gone through recycled arc after. There's nothing left for them. There's nothing for us to see or have be done with them. So to have a new cast of characters who we haven't had that much of development with or much actual on screen interaction with the story, and they don't have any of the recycled plots that have been going or recycled arcs essentially. I can see that being pretty good. And you know, also people love Soldier Boy, people love Jensen Ackles. People might warm up to Ryan. I know I didn't dislike Ryan over overtly, but I started to kind of get annoyed with how they kept pancaking with him being a good guy, bad guy. He's going to be, you know, he's going to be with Homelander, but oh, he's with Butcher because he wants to honor his mom. But oh, now he's kind of going dark and he's with Homelander. Oh, but now he's good again. It's like Jesus Christ, kid, shut her up the pot. Like, make up your mind. Be one or the other. Be something. But I think if they keep him as a consistent and actually build him up, keep him as a consistent character, I think they could actually be a pretty big fan favorite in the new show. So Ryan, I think, is going to be a pretty key player with the defeat of Homelander and Vought being not defeated, but you know, essentially switching from Soups because Homelander and Seven are gone to something else. So I think that's a possibility. And then for the main two characters, the guy who is or was the original face of the show that we first was met with when his girlfriend exploded into bloody jello is Huey and Starlight. Now, because you know the main thing this season is the virus and trying to release this virus that's going to kill all the superheroes. And I don't think I don't think that the virus is going to be used as much as the show is trying to lead us to believe. I think the virus is going to be important. What I could see happening between the last episode with the uranium capsule that Homelander was in, and them also saying that the compound V that Homelander has is just a regular compound V that every soup has. That's not from Gen 1, essentially. Essentially, his dad is a Gen 1 Pokemon, and he's from, you know, one of the fucking black and white eras or the X and Y era, essentially. And so I could see them making it into a case of, okay, we're not going to kill off all the superheroes, but we're going to, because also that wouldn't really work because the virus currently doesn't kill all soups. But what we're going to do is we're going to make a virus that is strong enough to not kill Homelander, but weaken him to a point that Ryan, Soldier Boy, and a few other soups can take him out. And so with that, I think the Starlight will not die. I don't think Kimiko or Starlight are going to die. So I could see them not retiring. Because I could see Huey still wanting to do good stuff and keep up with making sure soups are not doing any fucked up shit. Starlight too. I could see them settling down and marrying, even though I've never bought their relationship. That's the one thing. The one thing about the show I've never bought from the beginning was that Huey and Starlight were a couple. I never bought for a second Starlight would actually find, maybe in the comic, because I know in the comics that they have a whole different setup and a whole different everything. But as the show set up, I did not, I've never bought them together. But nonetheless, they are together. So I could see them settling down and you know, still doing their current work of making sure that, you know, soups are not doing fucked up shit and making sure that Vought is, you know, on the straight and narrow and not doing anything shady. And I could also see them setting up that not Homeland, that Starlight and Huey have a kid at some point. Like there could be a time skip at the end of the show where it's I don't know a decade plus or something, which would make sense because, but well, I guess they would have to recast Ryan and all that. But besides the point, I could see a time skip where it's 10, 15 years and Huey is I don't know. I don't really know what Huey would be at this point. Something with clerical, and Starlight could be a politician, or well, and since they're the show's going fully on in with the political satire, I could see Starlight being like a fill-in for. Well, shit, who would she be a fill-in for? I guess maybe. Hell, fuck, I don't know. I'm not really sure who Starlight would be like a real world parallel to, because with Newman it was AOC, Homelander it's Trump. I'm not really sure who Starlight would be a parallel to. That's a yeah, that's something I don't really know actually, but I could see her being a prominent politician or even the president. I could see the boys being like, you know what, we didn't get our real life female president twice with Hillary and Kamala. We're gonna make our own female president and wrong to right essentially with getting rid of Orange Man Bad and putting in the good Starlight. So I could see that happening. And so yeah, I see a good ending for Huey and Starlight, and then I also see a good ending for Frenchie and Kimiko. Yeah, there's a chance they kill off Frenchie, but I don't know. I don't think there's much gain from him being killed off. I mean, yeah, it'd be sad for Kimiko, but it would be more impactful if Mother's Milk died because I feel like he has more of a he's supposed to be the moral compass and the heart of the group, and he has a family, has a little girl, has a wife, he has a whole family. His dad has a connection to fighting Vought and Soups. It would be a lot more impactful and a lot more sad for someone like Mother's Milk to be killed, opposed to Frenchie, who just has Kimiko and the boys essentially. But they've kind of teased in the show about what Kimiko and Frenchie are gonna kind of do at the end of the show. They've teased them settling down or traveling, and kind of similar to Huey and Starlight, not the whole, Kimiko becoming a politician. Honestly, I really wish we could go back to a time when Kimiko did not talk because Jesus fucking Christ, ever since she developed the ability to talk, it has been absolute cursed. But I could see them settling down and, kind of like Starlight and Huey having a kid. Really, you could do it to where, well, I know Mers Mukhtar is a little bit older, but you could have it to be where Huey and Frenchie's kids are the two of the new main characters of a future franchise, because they've done that before in other mediums. Like in anime, it's kind of a common thing of like once the main character is their arc's over, the kid takes over. Whether Naruto comes up to mind with Naruto, then went to Boruto, Blue Vortex, and all that. So I can see that being a case of the new continuation of the boys is actually the boys' children being the new main characters, which would be a cool take. It'd even be a cool take if you had somehow Zoe, Ryan, and then Huey and Frenchie's kids with Soldier Boy as the leader of their team doing whatever. That would be pretty fun. Now, the issue is, and I thought about it when I just said that, I'm not really sure. As much as I keep talking about a new iteration of the boys, I'm not really sure what else you can do with the boys, because Homelander is the big bad, and short of introducing aliens or some convoluted fucking Jurassic Park shit where they make some Frankenstein compound V monster which has like every ability, essentially what they did in Secret. What was it? That Marvel show, Secret Invasion with Nick Fury, where they gave that super scroll that we've never heard of again and will never be acknowledged again every fucking power in the MCU up until that point. Unless they do that, there is no other threat that could really be an issue. Like between Ryan, Soldier Boy, and other soups, I don't know what the fuck else in the boys could even be a legit threat. So now maybe in the comics there's another villain that I don't know about, or a group that could be a Homelander replacement, but that I don't know. That's the one thing I have no answer for. I'm not sure. I could see another series happening. I just can't see who the villain and like what the actual conflict's going to be. So that I'm not really sure. But yeah, I think that's pretty much my thoughts on what the end of the show might look like and what we might get. But honestly, I have a feeling that I'm probably going to be a bit wrong on a lot of these. I'm kind of hoping I'm wrong on a few of them, but I'm hoping I'm right on the other few of them. But we'll have to see though. And with that said, I think I'm gonna call it a day here. Let me know what you think, how you think the show's gonna end, if you're watching this before it comes out or even after. But besides the point, I'm gonna catch you guys later, and until next time, I will see you then.